So for this session, we will discuss Chapter 3 of the Conceptual Framework. So Chapter 3 is the financial statements and the reporting entity. But before jumping to Chapter 3, let us first step back and review what we've learned regarding Chapter 2. So to summarize, we've known the two types of qualitative characteristics. We have our fundamental and enhancing. For your fundamental, you have 2 points here. You have your relevance and your faithful representation. For relevance, you have your predictive value as well as your confirmatory value. And also, you take into consideration the concept of materiality, which is an entity-specific aspect of relevance. Under faithful representation, you have your completeness, neutrality, and free from error. For your for your enhancing qualitative characteristics, you have your VCAT, or your verifiability, comparability, understandability, and timeliness. So now let's formally introduce you to Chapter 3 of the Conceptual Framework, Financial Statements and Reporting Entity. The objective of general purpose financial statements is to provide financial information about the reporting entity's assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses that is useful in assessing the entity's prospects for future net cash inflows and management's stewardship over economic resources. That information is provided in the statement of financial position for recognized assets, liabilities, and equity, statements of financial performance for income and expenses, and other statements and notes for additional information on recognized assets and liabilities, information on unrecognized assets and liabilities, information on cash flows, information on contributions from and distributions to owners, and other relevant information. For your reporting period, this refers to the financial statements are prepared for a specified period of time and provide information on assets, liabilities, and equity that existed at the end of the reporting period or during the reporting period, and income and expenses for the reporting period. It is for a reporting period, you also have to consider your comparative information. To help users of financial statements in evaluating changes and trends, financial statements also provide comparative information for at least one preceding reporting period. For example, an entity's 2020 current year financial statements will include the 2019 preceding year financial statements as a comparative information. This allows users to assess the information's intra-comparability. Also, you have to consider that it is a forward-looking information. Financial statements are designed to provide information about past events, like your historical data. Information about possible future transactions and other events is included in the financial statements only if it relates to the past information presented in the financial statements and is deemed useful to users of financial statements. Financial statements, however, do not typically provide forward-looking information about management's expectations and strategies for the reporting entity. Financial statements include information about events after the end of the reporting period if it is necessary to meet the objective of financial statements. Now, let's determine the perspective adopted in the financial statements or the point of view. So, information in financial statements is prepared from the perspective of the reporting entity, not from the perspective of any particular group of financial statement user. Also, the underlying assumption of the going concern assumption. Financial statements are normally prepared on the assumption that the reporting entity is a going concern, meaning the entity has neither the intention nor the need to end its operations in the foreseeable future. If this is not the case, the entity's financial statements are prepared on another basis. For example, your measurement at realizable values rather than mixture of costs and values. The reporting entity is one that is required or chooses to prepare financial statements and is not necessarily a legal entity. It can be a single entity or a group or combination of two or more entities. Sometimes an entity controls another entity. The controlling entity is called the parent, while the controlled entity is called the subsidiary. Hence, if a reporting entity comprises both the parent and its subsidiaries, the reporting entity's financial statements are referred to as consolidated financial statements. If, if a reporting entity is the parent alone, the reporting entity's financial statements are referred to as unconsolidated financial statements. If a reporting entity comprises two or more entities that are not all linked by a parent-subsidiary relationship, the reporting entity's financial statements are referred to as combined financial statements. To give you an example, kindly look at the diagram below. You have there Jollibee, you have the Greenwich, you have Chowking, and you have Mang Inasal. In short, you have your Jollibee Foods Incorporated or Jollibee Foods Corporation, your JFC. So Jollibee is the parent entity here, and its subsidiaries are Greenwich, Mang Inasal, and Chowking. For example, Jollibee Foods Corporation controls Chowking, Greenwich, Mang Inasal, and many other companies. Jollibee is the parent, while the controlled companies are the subsidiaries. The financial statements of Jollibee, including its subsidiaries, are called consolidated financial statements. The financial statements of Jollibee alone, excluding excluding its subsidiaries, are called unconsolidated financial statements. The financial statements of each subsidiary alone are referred to as individual financial statements. So you have an individual FS for Greenwich, you have an individual FS for Mang Inasal, and you have an individual FS for Chowking. If financial statements are prepared to include only Chowking and Greenwich, these are two subsidiaries only without a parent, the financial statements would be referred to as combined financial statements. The consolidated and unconsolidated financial statements. Consolidated financial statements provide information on a parent and its subsidiaries viewed as a single reporting entity. Consolidated financial statements are not designed to provide information on any particular subsidiary. That information is provided in the subsidiary's own financial statements. Consolidated information enables users to better assess the parent's prospects for future cash flows because the parent's cash flows are affected by the cash flows of its subsidiaries. Accordingly, when consolidation is required, unconsolidated financial statements cannot be used as substitute for consolidated financial statements. However, a parent may nonetheless be required or to prepare unconsolidated financial statements in addition to consolidated financial statements.